surprised because they'd be like, people would be surprised and say, "We're staying in Alpine," and we drove by, and I was
Yep.
like, "That's still really far."
It is not close. So I went in November for the Terlingua chili cook-off,
Oh,
which probably like my favorite thing of all time. I'd been wanting to go for a while. And hello, everybody. We're opening the webinar. We're letting everybody get settled. And while we're waiting for everybody to get settled, we're just talking about my favorite place in the world in Texas, Big Bend, Terlingua, out there near Victor in in El Paso. But so I went in November. It was the very first time, so I've only been there twice. But I was like, I have to take my family back, and I tried to
yes.
book a spot in the state park for um, spring break, and I couldn't get. I mean, it was 2 months in advance, and I still couldn't get anything.
Well, I
So
hear it's really open in the summer because
yeah,
it's
because it's
so hot.
125 degrees out there. Uh,
Great deals.
yeah. And so we ended up staying in Terlingua. We
Oh,
just had an
cool.
Airbnb.
Okay, same spot
But
then. We were around there.
yeah, yeah. And it was, I mean, there's so much to see and so much to do. What did you go to the hot springs while you were there?
No, we went to the state park. We did like easy because it was the
Okay.
kids and they're 12 and 10, and we had the dog. So
Ah,
then when
yeah,
we
yeah,
were
yeah.
at the national park, we're like, oh, dogs aren't allowed. Okay. So that
Yeah.
was like, we didn't research that, but it was allowed on the trail,
Okay.
like where cars can go. So then
Yeah.
we were like splitting, like, okay, you do that 1 miler and then come back and then I'll take the dog and then
Gotcha.
you take this kid. And then at the state park we would all go, all of us.
Very
hmm
cool. What a
Yeah,
fun
so we
trip.
did like 1.5, 2 mile hikes. So we
Yeah.
didn't do any of those long 5 milers. We'd go in the morning, be done by noon.
Yeah. So we did Santa Elena, which is one of the really
Yes,
popular ones in the national park.
we did that one
But
too.
did you?
Yeah,
That's I mean such a beautiful hike.
we're like
Uh,
Mexico is just across the creek,
yeah.
which is the Rio.
Yep. Well, in the hot spring is actually I mean it's like a quarter mile, half mile walk. It's not far at all, but it's a natural hot spring and there's the foundations of what used to be a bathhouse literally right on the Rio Grande. And
Hmm.
so you sit in this hot spring water that's 100, degrees, something like that. And then every once in a while you get out and go dip in the Rio Grande that's like 55
Oh,
and then back in
wow.
hot water. It was I mean like probably as close to a walkabout as I'll ever get. It's
Hmm.
transformational, I would say. I learned a lot.
Well, yeah, I'll have
Um,
to ask you for tips when I go back.
well, and that's the other thing is like now that I feel like I need to go back every
Yeah.
year,
Well, I hear that
well,
the chili cook-off you went to, that's like famed and lored because they say that they invented it.
yeah.
I'm like,
So
sure you did.
well, and I've heard several different stories around it. And fun fact, it's actually two chili cook-offs now. So
Hmm.
there's the Terlingua chili cook-off and then the Cassie chili cook-off. And we ended up going to both of them kind of by accident. But the Terlingua one, it's been going for 50, I think this last year was the 58th or 59th year. I don't remember. I think it was the
Wow.
59th. And they raised over that course of 3 days, I think they raised 58,000 or $60,000 for ALS, which is the
Wow.
cause that they support. Um, but truthfully, I actually ate more tamales than I did chili. I don't know how, but we did try chili. It was good. But I mean, just a fantastic experience. Everybody's super friendly
hmm
and a whole lot of fun. Met a lot of really nice people along the way. So maybe we just do our Tameo conference down there one year
We just
in
in the
November.
summer
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. We'll go down there.
It's not
feats
hot
of
at
Um,
strength,
all in
feats
any
of
of the
strength.
this side of Texas is definitely so cool in the summer. I say summertime. We were last weekend actually, the canyon floor hit 105.
Wow.
already.
Uh-huh.
Holy
What?
cow, that's
And
amazing.
Like in the
it's gonna hit
Real
afternoon?
quick,
100 this
everybody
week
that's
again.
joining, we're just letting everybody get settled and we'll start the webinar in just a second. We're just talking about well, heat in Texas now, but really Big Bend and Powell. the big hole in the ground up near Amarillo. I won't say the
There you
name
go.
because I'll get in trouble with Megan. But yeah, they said in like Big Bend area, it gets to like 120, 125 regular. I mean, it's desert out there for sure.
Ooh.
Monica, the weather, how was it when you were there? Was it like
It
75?
Driving there Monday, we stopped in Monahans at the state park. It was freezing. And then
Yeah,
Tuesday we kept driving, and Tuesday it was warmer. And Wednesday, Thursday when we hiked, it was nice and then warm and then hot.
yeah.
Yeah,
How
so
was the
it's
drive? Because you drove there from Allen, right?
from Murphy, but yes, it's just
From
20
Murphy, yeah.
minutes further.
Just 20 minutes on top of a 12-hour.
20 minutes on top of 9 hours. Yeah. Yeah.
That's not 9 hours isn't too bad.
Well, but I'm like the worst road tripper because we're like literally have just left and I'm like we're barely out of DFW and I'm like, where's the nearest restroom? So we're already like trying to stop more. When the kids were still in diapers, at least I could say it was for them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Hey, it's about the journey, not the destination, right?
Let's see. Someone says Patty Jet says Monica. Let me see. Something about the dog. Let me look. Oh,
Were you able to
yes.
hike with him, her?
So
So were
the
you able to
dog,
hike?
yeah, the dog is allowed at the state park. So there, which I didn't know that there was two. So there's
Yeah.
the Big Bend State Park. Because yeah, I just was passenger princess. I just like, where are we going? I packed 5 leggings, and so we arrived. And so then the state park is where you could have the dogs, and then the
But not the national park. Yeah.
national park is allowed in, and anywhere cars could go, but not so like if you're walking down the canyon trail, like
Yeah.
you can't have the
Yeah.
dog.
St. Helena. Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, that's the one where we had the round trip with I took 2 kids and then we came back, got him, and then he went back and took 1 kid and I kept the dog. Yeah,
That's nice.
definitely get hiking boots, Patty.
Yeah.
Like you cannot not invest in those when you go.
Megan, is Palo Duro, is it a state park or a national park?
It's a state park.
Okay, so you could take the dog there.
Yeah,
Oh
we
yeah,
went there
no.
too.
People
We've been
people
there.
bring their dogs. Please for PSA for everyone, and then we'll get started with the webinar. Please, if you're
Hydration.
hiking with animals, bring as much water for them as you are also bringing for yourself. It is
Yeah.
always
And
so sad
snacks.
during search and rescues when they're like, "Oh, we brought a bottle of water that's like this big for our, golden retriever in the middle of June for the Lighthouse Trail, which is 6 miles." Bring
Yeah,
water for your
that's
dogs, everyone.
Christy Soto said she got engaged at Big Bend last year.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's fantastic. What a
Congrats.
great
She's my
place.
boss. She's my boss. And like, I would have gotten tips, but I know she did so much longer hikes than I could have done.
Um, and Michelle's saying hi from Grand Prairie. Hello.
Hi, Chinny.
Um, we yeah, Big Bend and Palo Duro are, I mean, as far as Texas goes, like they're just fantastic. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. And the drives to both of them, I think, are amazing. The Big Bend trip was oohs and ahs the whole way. And same thing driving up to Caldera. Just they are wild experiences. So go take pictures, bring them back,
It's
share.
also last shameless plug for anyone who really wants to come up to the Panhandle. It is the 100th anniversary of Route 66 this year.
Is it
So,
really?
yes.
Holy cow.
1926 to 2026. It's the 100-year anniversary.
Well,
And
we have
so
to
y'all
figure out
come
something
up
like
and see all the Panhandle cities that are on Route 66.
that. Thank you for that. Okay, looks like we're just about settled. We're gonna go ahead and kick this thing off. So, this is our March Tamia webinar. Thank you everybody for joining us, and thank you, Monica, for being willing to come and share your massive amount of knowledge with us. This month we are going to be talking about media, what the media needs from you. Practically speaking, how that engagement works and how we can work with them as government communicators. Monica works with the city of Allen as a senior communication specialist. But she has a vast array of experience in news media. So you started your career in news media. Are you a journalist? Did you go to school for journalism, or how did that go about?
Well, I went to school in Chicago and I got a communications degree, and I knew that
Okay.
wasn't going to be enough. So while I was doing that, I was interning at Chicago news stations my senior year. And then I interned so much that I moved away the summer after graduating to a small town. And then I interned so much there that when the internship was over, they said, well, why don't you just work here? And so that's how I got started.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I've lost count. You've worked so you worked outside of Chicago, or you worked in this small town, then you worked in Pensacola, not Pensacola. You worked in
Green
Florida,
Bay.
Green Bay.
I went Peoria, Illinois, Green Bay, Wisconsin, so south, north, and then
Yeah,
south to Jacksonville, Florida,
Jacksonville, that's where.
and then we moved here, and I've not reported here
Gotcha.
in
But
Dallas.
thankfully for us, you're bringing all of that experience to local government. So with that, I'll turn it over to you. Just
Sure.
a quick note for everybody on the webinar. Feel free to use the chat as we go along. If you have any questions, you can put them in the question and answer tab, and I will ask those at the end of Monica's presentation. But with that, take it away.
Cool. Okay, well, I'm going to try my hand at sharing the screen in a second, and I joke around that I could be a little bit boomer, so bear with me and definitely throw me a chat if something's going awry. So, hi, Jen. I see Jennifer Stroop says she was also fellow former Jacksonville newsie. Oof, we're all in that club. Okay, bear with me while I share and then find the tab I want to share. So we practice this and I'm going to be real calm about it. Give me 1 second right here. Okay, so hopefully you could see, I see little bars on my screen as well, but it would be great if I did. Can you, let me see if I can
Yeah, we can
zoom.
see you. We got you.
Can you see this like bar on the side that says like all our
Nope.
faces? Okay, that's
Nope.
just me then. Okie dokie. So here's what I got. So this, feel free to screen cap this slide, whatever you want from it. When I watch these webinars over the past year, I'm like racing through just screen capping like every slide. And I'm not always so good about finding it at the end, but at the end of this slide, I will have a QR where you can grab the whole web link to this so you can have access to it. So, okay, the presentation is what the news media needs from you, and how to share your story, protect your message, and work with reporters, photogs, the news speak media. As I said, I'm at the City of Allen. I'm a senior communications specialist. So, a little bit about me. Um, I'm back at work after taking a decade, and I don't know how that happened, a decade off comms. I did have a one or two other full-time jobs. I worked at a law firm most recently in marketing. And then I'm a fitness instructor. So always wanted to work. And so I'm so happy to be back at work and be at the City of Allen. They're a fantastic place, and we're looking for someone to be on our team. So get on the government comms job right now because the link might be going away in the next day or two. So I relocated to DFW with my husband's career with State Farm. If you're familiar with this side of the DFW, that's the city line of Richardson. It was like a hole in the ground with like two base pegs when we moved here, and now it's like a whole city. So we moved here for that, and he's still there with his career. So previously, I worked as a public affairs officer for Mayor Alvin Brown. And if you look over, that's me videotaping him when I was a reporter. And that's how I started out. I was a reporter at the First Coast News, ABC, NBC duopoly. And then after that, before that, I was at Green Bay, Wisconsin. So in Jacksonville, I was there 2 years. Green Bay, Wisconsin, I was there 3.5 years. It was a great job. And I worked right next door to Lambeau Field. And then I also worked in Peoria, Illinois, which is HY 19 News. And that's the one where I was the intern that would never leave, which worked out in my favor. And I'm originally from Chicago. Peoria is just south of Chicago in another DMA, another market. So we have some misconceptions about news at times, and we all have our different reasons why, and that's totally okay. So there's some misconceptions, whether or not you've gotten burned or you're worried about the news. I feel misconceptions are gotcha journalism, like where you think they're trying to get you to say something, and then they're going to, just use that nonstop. Also, misconception, they only want bad news. Another misconception I feel is they just want clicks and views. I don't feel that personally from my work that I did myself. I did personally work with people in the Green Bay market at the NBC that were very they were at another station at the NBC, and they were very gotcha. Like they would go in like Walmart with the cameras running to like talk to employees and then say like no one would talk to us. And like, well, yeah, that's Walmart. But I find those instances to be rare. And in my 10 years of news, that was really the only place I ever saw that. So let's move on. Let me move my screen around so I could read it with you. So we want them to know we're also superhero storytellers. Like they are storytellers because that's their career, but we're smart too. And we have fun stories. We're smart and savvy, and we are responsible people. So here's what so they show up, whatever the reason, right? Here's what they want to know. Breaking news, your press conference, your city hall meeting. There's main things. Why? Why is this important to anyone? Okay, how? Like, what does this cost? If it dollars, money, taxpayer, work, is there a danger? You know, that's when you guys have the like you have to send a press release that there's been a shooting and so someone was killed or something like that. So that's the first thing. Like, is there a risk to my community? So these are the main questions I feel that I would ask when I went on a story. It's always important to why is this important to my neighbor? How much does this cost me? And is there a risk? And I know that the cost thing was something that took me some time to learn. So I would just recommend that to be like a forthcoming thing. It's so funny. Like once I went to a story that I covered, I did it. Something about like these vacation Bible schools. And so I did like this whole great story about a vacation Bible school and blah, 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 like, you know, soft news. And so the anchor's like, well, how much does it cost? And I was like, oh, I don't know. So, and that just gets to the thing of like, I could do this great story, and then like I'll be sitting with the anchor writing the lead, and it's like, oh my gosh, let me make a phone call. I don't know how much it costs. So these are very important things. Even if the reporter doesn't get it, they're gonna maybe come back for it. All right, let's understand the news cycle. Newsrooms operate in shifts. This is generally Monday through Friday. So you're going to have three shifts. We've got dayside, nightside, and overnight. I was most of my career was a dayside reporter. So you start at 8 or 9 a.m. and then you work past the 5 o'clock news. So you're going to work maybe till 6:30. Maybe you're supposed to leave at 5:30 after the 5 o'clock news. And someone will ask you, you know, the producer will be like, oh, I really need a 6 o'clock live shot. Can you stay till like 6:10? But I mean, then you're also in the field. And so you're like, oh yeah. So just keep in mind that a lot of these reporters, I would imagine their salary. So they're not getting paid overtime. Like I was just used to working and then like, well, that's just what it is. You left in the morning and you got sent to like Gainesville from Jacksonville and you didn't come back for 3 days. But like they gave you a credit card and let you buy clothes at Walmart. So like it was cool. And you don't get that. Like I didn't get like 3 days off later the next week. Like it was just like that's what it was. So it's like very overworked people, in my opinion. So we've got dayside, nightside, and overnight. That nightside shifts mostly covers your evening newscasts, and this is kind of like the powerhouse of the newsroom, I felt like, because they kind of see all the shifts. And then you've got overnight where it kind of gets softer. You kind of really have the skeleton crew. And these are important shifts to keep in mind. So newsrooms and how they operate. We've got a variety of news shows, not to mention special online live streams that kind of never end in the apps now. So we've got morning, midday, evening, and your night PM news. So, and then keep in mind, if you're in another time zone, you probably have an 11 PM news as well, because I remember in Jacksonville, I worked the 11 o'clock. So that was always like doing your live shot for like a crime in the bad neighborhood at like 11 o'clock at night and then getting out of there. So each show focuses on rather different. So if you're like a morning show reporter, you're typically not doing like, I mean, you will get sent to breaking news, but you're kind of, this is kind of your opportunity, like, oh, I'm having this fun thing, or like I have this beautiful sculpture, or I have this fun inside thing. You could like a behind the scenes of my construction or something. So this is more morning headlines, more, traffic, weather, lighthearted. This is what we're seeing is like a quicker, fun beat for your content. Midday is this news, noon, 11-ish. And right now, sometimes it seems like the news cycle never stops. But on your regular, non-cable. This is what I'm talking about. So you're going to be having your morning recap on midday. They also do a lot of medical news, just as an FYI. I see a lot of those. And there's a lot of like national news spotlights because there's like a lot, there's probably a whole hour they have to fill. So there's like a lot of gaps and there's a lot of things to put in the midday. Besides the morning as well, is usually like 3 to 4 hours long. And then you've got your evening, very condensed, packed newscasts. 5 o'clock, you've got then your national breaks at 5:30, usually in Central Time, and then you've got your six. So you generally 5 and 6 o'clock news. So high breaking news category, high live shots, and then every segment, every almost all of these, they're devoting minutes of time to sports. And the poor sportscasters get like really shoved out of their sports cast sometimes. Like they'll prepare everything and they just have to go put it online nowadays. If, there's something breaking that like throws the whole show out the window. And I'll show you what that means in a second. So let's not forget about weekends. Those poor weekend reporters, they're usually only day sides, right? We were talking about those 3 shifts. So you've just got the 8-ish, 9-ish to 5 or 6 p.m. They're usually not too heavy on live shots. Larger markets like DFW will have a nightside reporter. And don't forget about your overnighters. This is if something happens, probably breaking news in your town. It's on-call photogs getting called in the middle of the night, or stringers, which is people who live within the community who they hire and then they pay to give this video monthly or whatever. Okay, let's see. Newsroom meetings, timings, and attendees to know. Okay, so I've got when I only really worked a morning show when I was at WGN in Chicago. And so this was already like 20 years ago, which is like crazy to say. But we would always have a post-wrap morning meeting. So it was at some point when the morning news would end, say like it was probably like 6 to 9 a.m. at that time. And so we'd have it like at 9:15 and we'd talk about everything that went wrong, went great, and what's up for tomorrow, maybe. And then we're all out of there. So Dayside is going to be having their work of the day as well. They're in a meeting at about 8 or 9 a.m., depending your time zone. And a lot of times they want those reporters to be prepared before the meeting. So I would admit that I was very much like a worker bee as a reporter. So I did not strive to have like beats or like known for a certain thing. I would just be like, just give me the work no one wants. Like I'll get it done. Like I'll just get it done. Like we'll just keep like the wheel has to go and like I'll make it go. And so I didn't do too many pre-calls before these meetings. It's 8 to 9 a.m. But I mean, I'd walk in and like the senior reporters, the ones who were going to retire there, they'd be like, "Oh, you're just getting here," and I'd be like, "I sure am." And they'd already been on the phone for an hour calling their sources and being ready for that meeting. So then we also have our night side. Night side has their meeting around 2 o'clock, or they come in around 2 o'clock. So this is a conference room. It's a large meeting. It's usually the news director, assistant news director, all the reporters, if they're not already out. You have usually your anchors are already there by then. Producers, the producers are your powerhouse of they're deciding what they want in their shows, and the assignment managers. And I mentioned who's omitted is the photographers. They don't need to be there. I mean, sometimes they'll be there, but usually they rise above and they're already out at stories, they're doing things, and sometimes they're a little surly. So like, we don't want them there. They can just like, we'll just catch up. We'll catch them up in the car when we're going somewhere. So moving on. So show example. So I'm just showing you that like, let's say, okay, we're just going to digest this for a second. This is the beginning of an 11 p.m. newscast in 2015. This is called ENPS. So this is like an archaic, they probably don't even use this anymore, but this is what I would use. So each cell is a script or like coding or like HTML. And, and so it's showing you like at A2 and so the shows are in blocks. So there's block A, B, C, and I think D. But you know the reporters they always want to be in the A block because we want our stories to be the leads. We want to go home. B block's a little fluffier, and then weather's on the back of B. So this is the very top of the A block. As you can see down the right, it says back, and it says minutes. So at 10:59, like they're launching the cue, like the noises, like tonight on ABC 7. And then it's like wee 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 fire truck. Okay. And so then here it's saying, then Chance's dad says something, and then something about the water, and then a tag, wrap it up, and then it's saying it's on a two shot. So the anchors are on two shot. The show opens, and there's going to be video from a stringer, and Keith is saying something. If you clicked VO, you'd be able to open it. And so then it's also leading into back to two shot of Keith and Stacy Peter. And I just Googled this, so I don't know these people. And so these things will make sense in a second. But so it says like VO, lead in, stinger, package, tag. So all of these are ways that they're marking the producer's running this. The producer's running what's in the show. And so say like in A11 fire truck accident, which is fire truck X, say that happened in your city. And for some reason, the reporter and the photog did not get their piece done in time. They're going to be 2 minutes late, which is like the end of the world, but it happens and it's happened to me. So the producer's going to grab that and like pull it down, and like then the next thing has to go up. So then the anchors will have to shuffle their scripts and like find that one and then like read it. So that's some of the shuffling you sometimes see. So I'm just showing you as like you want to be part of the news sometimes, right? Sometimes we don't. So sometimes we do. And so this is what it looks like on the final product. So this would say be a fire truck accident in your city. And that's already taking us through to the 11:02 p.m. So here we go. Offering stories to the media and how you can help. Invite the media to some fun events. If you had, say you have like this great event and you've put a press release out, and you're like, man, like no one's coming to my super awesome event. But like, what if you would have framed it as to like your friend who's making his calls for beats or emails or whatever they're doing right now to stay in contact with you if you're like friendly. What if instead of sending your contact or your news source a press release, what if you sent them like, hey, we're having this really cool event, and I think it'd be like really great for your 6 p.m. weather bump. Like if you'd want to come out and like weather video, man, those meteorologists, they love to get out of the office, and they're more fun than a reporter because they're very much more seasoned. And have them make it like a little contest or yeah, anything to like bring light to your event. Or you just say like, hey, like we had this really cool event. Like, would you want to do a web story on it if I give you some photos or video? So there's just different ways of approaching it as opposed to like putting your thing out and then saying like, man, no one came. If you give out your own video and pictures, avoid over branding it. So like in the corner where it says like Coca-Cola, because right away the producer's like, don't use that. Like we'll just not use anything. They'll say we'll just let the anchor be on camera. Like we'd rather not even use. So like if you like seal and like brand all your stuff, they're really not going to want to use it. If it's a reputable news station, which I'd say most are, they will put their own graphic that will come and go, and it'll say courtesy city of XYZ. Also, consider a media kit. Contact info, logos, pre-recorded, sound bites, photo kits, but keep in mind, maybe it's on purpose that you don't have a media kit. Very much recognize that maybe you don't want to be in this like limelight. And so maybe these are good tips to help you stay, further back. And that's good too. That's okay. So here's a media kit example. Thank you, Chris Shadrock, for throwing me this one in the Tamio Facebook group. I asked if anyone had a media relations or a media kit that they could show me. So this is great because it's really down to earth. So I've just got this basic email. It says email communications, which, by the way, I do recommend that you do not use a personal name for your communications email that is public facing, because you don't want people like friending you on Facebook or finding you on LinkedIn, or like then you friend them and then they're messaging you because like that's where you were available. So I do recommend that communications email at XYZ government, because it's vague, and that's where you want the relationship to be. You don't want it to be on this forward facing website, your personal name. I don't recommend. I love this because it's a stock photos. It's showing me how cool this city is. And, I see buildings, I see a water tower, I see some aerials. This is fantastic. So let me show you another one. This is the North Texas Food Bank, which is one of my favorite. And then I'm going to try to show you the actual website. So anyone feel free to come on mic on the back end if this goes awry. So let's see here if I can do this. So I've got, I know you could see all the thingies on my screen, and that's okay. So North Texas Food Bank, how's it look, Josh?
Looking good.
Okay, so right here we've got About Us, then we've got a download, then we've got the embed, and then oh my gosh, we've got videos. Click, okay, and they're all horizontal, and then I've got interviews. So I've got canned sound bites from important people, and then I've just got audio because maybe I'm NPR. Like maybe I just need maybe I'm just gonna do this on Instagram and I have my own video and I just need a soundbite to throw over, um, put some B-roll. Speaking of, here's B-roll. And look at how it's all beautiful, it's all horizontal. It's not here, it's here. So I just, I'm like a big fan of this website because besides that, they're my local food bank, and my kids volunteer here and I've volunteered here. And so really just a big fan of like how accessible the information here is, and logos, because whose logo hasn't been misused, screen capped, warped, but here at least someone could find them at some point. So I'm a big fan of that one, obviously knowing that maybe that's not your intention, and that's okay too. And that says click me because that's at the end. I have the QR where you can have this on your own. So if you're having an event, here's some tips. Maybe you're going to have a press packet. So what does that mean? If you're going to give them a piece of paper, I would go ahead and give them a folder. You don't have to fill the folder. It's just like this piece of paper is just going to go like, it's just sitting in the passenger seat of the photographer, and it's just going to like fly out the window. So like give it a weight and put it in a folder. You could put fun things in there, assets, a pin, some swag. You could decide that you don't have to do anything either. You could be mindful of, like I said, the photographers are usually the ones coming, not the whole reporter crew. The photogs have to carry a lot. We had someone come out and they brought a wagon, and I was like fangirling over her wagon because I used to be a photographer too. In my last market, I shot and edited, and so I was like, a wagon, like why didn't I think of that? And so I was like, tell me more about your wagon. She was probably like, oh my gosh. And if you have a go kit, this is a little more like when I worked in Jacksonville, we would have hurricane season, And granted, I was never there exactly during a hurricane, but I was there during a lot of tropical storms. And I was there on the reporter side, and I was there on the mayor side too. So if you look down on your left, I have press train passive audio distribution box. What? It's a mult box. It's a mult box. And there's different ones. Like I just picked that one because it was a middle range and I did BH photo. But I just Googled like malt box for media. And so it goes anywhere from like 1,000, 2,000 to like 300. And so this has got it's got holes and they're going to take their hard line or their stick mic wireless and plug it in. And so then they've got the podium sound, which is going to be different than if you look on the right, that's a news rake. So if you've got a news rake, you're not going to have a podium there. Everyone's on their own. It's this huge rake and it stands up and they all like slot their mics. So in that, if you have notes, like it's probably breaking news anyway. So you might not have notes. You might be speaking more live and off the cuff. But if it's more organized, I do recommend that your Go kit have a malt box and a news rake. Extra credit would be a podium. So this is when I was at the city of Jacksonville. Mayor Alvin Brown had this clear podium that I honestly don't know how it got anywhere because I would just go to events and it would already be there. So I was obviously not part of the crew that was like bringing it. Like now I was wondering like who brought that? Like I should contact my old friend James and be like, were you, did you take it? So we had this clear podium and as you could see, it has like levels and then it's slanted. So it has like, it could hold like the precious binder with the notes and it's got the one mic. So in this one, the media can't stick their little tree on there. So for this one, you'd want the malt box because you don't want the media coming and putting their little tree stick mic um, on mayor's binder. You will hear about it later and they won't let it happen right there. And then on this right, that's me and the mayor, my husband and my then baby. This was 10 years ago when I was going to move away. And so that's our inside podium. And so it's like very nice, again, hidden. He could have his water and he can have his binder and like life is great. So a little funny story that I'll tell you. When I was a reporter in Peoria, Illinois, I was just a kid. And so we would like the station I was at was tragic. Like we didn't know what we were doing. Like we were late a lot. And so we were late to this press conference at the library. And the photographer I was with, like young kid too, like we're all young. And so he's just like, man, this guy, like he's gonna be president one day. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Like let's get like I just gotta get sound. And so we get there and there's nowhere to plug in. It's just this little library. And there's so many people. And so there's like this row and it's like, the aisle to get to the speaker. And he's already speaking. And so I was like, well, guess we're not getting sound here. And the photographer is like, no, you're gonna go up there and put the mic up there. And I'm like, no, I'm not. So we're fighting. He's like, you're gonna go put the mic. And I'm like, no, I'm not. So finally he gives me like the lav mic, which is the one you pin. So he rolled it up and he pinned it. And he's like, it's on, just set it on the podium. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I run up there and I put it on. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And I put it down and like the guy's in the middle of his speech. And so who was the guy? It was Barack Obama. So I was like, oh my. And then he was president. So just work with your media who's late. It happens, and sometimes it happens a lot. But that's that story always, and it was Barack Obama, like that's always like the funny part is that I still put the mic up there and we got our sound, okay? So they're gonna get it done. Okay, so pro tips for your mics. On the mic, you're always hot. Microphones, cameras, they're recording. Even if it's like on the back end, like they haven't hit record yet. We had a camera in Jacksonville, and this was already like 13 years ago, 14 years ago when I was a reporter, and it had like a back time. So it'd be like, oh my gosh, I missed like the car flying past the stop sign. Well, no, you didn't because you had it set up. It back timed it. And so it's like it was still in there. Like even though I didn't hit record till like after it passed the stop sign, like the camera was saw it and like saved 5 to 10 seconds. So just know that, we don't want you to get burned on either side, whether you're on the reporter side or the city side or the county side. Um, just you're on, you're live, you're professional. If it's we had a press conference on my first day of work, and I went to go talk to the news people because I was like, "Hi, that's a cool camera." That's just always like my icebreaker. And so, and I was like, "Whoa, you gotta record the whole thing." And so he's like, "Oh no, we're just live streaming, and like they're gonna cut it back at the station." And I was like, "Whoa, okay." So they were hot on the mic. Whatever was being said was being taken in to the back room at the station, and someone else is cutting it. So you can't even say that like, "Oh, that photog wouldn't do that to me," because like everyone has these little backpacks now and they're live, and it might end up on air, even if you were just joking or if it was like not the quote you wanted. Um, and also, if you're going to have a lav mic on your person, I would pin it and then hide the cord. So make sure the cord is not just like stuck on this exterior. Make sure it's here and then tucked in, and then wrap it around the back, and then tuck the lav into your back pocket. All right. So I actually think I skipped something, and I'm gonna slide back real. I must have like been excited. Yes, look, this is the one. I was like, where'd it go? So earlier I showed you this one, show example. This should have come before that. I was wondering where it was. So as we can see in that show example, I have package, VO, script. Okay, here is screen cap this one. So here's what the end result of your uh, piece is going to look like on their backside. Package, VOSOT, BO, NATS package, graphic reader, and a live shot. So for a package, this is like the standard breaking news, like reporter on the scene. It starts with a sound bite, and then it's video, the reporter saying something, video, reporter saying something, sound bite, can't believe this happened, back to reporter. So that's a package of a neatly compressed, whether it's like an award-winning news piece or like the sloppiest put together breaking news. It's a package. VO, voice over sound on tape, is a VOSOT. So that's just going to be your video of your event with a soundbite of your one or two officials. That soundbite's going to be about 5 seconds to 30 if it's really good. So your VO is going to be the video of your event with the anchor saying like XYZ, great event, and they said this, to 10 to seconds of your official. VO, so that maybe there was no sound opportunity at your event, or maybe it was like not the kind of thing where you have sound at your event because it was like something happened at your city hall, and it was like 7 p.m. when they got there. So there's no officials. So it's just like the anchor or the reporter voicing over video that's cut and spliced together. Nats. So Nats is a natural sound. So like today in Fort Worth, tweet, 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 and so then oh, the birds are migrating back. So it's like when you hear like little, they stop for a little sound, like of standalone sound. And so the Nats package is I had someone come out of all the things to like, we weren't trying to have media coverage. We do a weekly newsletter, and the media's on our newsletter. And they came out and they wanted to do something on a library event where they were making papel picado, which is a Mexican paper project. And so they came out and they wanted to do something for their like Hispanic Heritage Month thing. They were going to hold it. So it's like someone had the insight to like see that and be like, that's going to be really good for in 2 months. We need content. And so they came out and they did a Nats package where they just put the mic hidden on the presenter for the art show, the project, and the art project. And so she just went through and like told everyone how to make it. And then these noises of cutting paper. So that's a Nats package. There's no reporter involved. Next up, graphics, reader, maybe that's just what you see, like the weather graphic, and then, or nothing. And then you just see the anchor space, like today in the city of blah, 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 we had breaking news because there's a major this and that catastrophe, um, because there is no visual yet. And the live shot. If you have on-site reporting, um, and they happen to ask you to do a live interview, I would really only recommend if it's like the spectrum of like super fun or like super breaking news, and you're like the top official of the city. Like, and I would, before it goes live, I would say, we could really only do 2 to 3 questions, and they're still going to ask you five. So I would just really set up those barriers. And I don't recommend live interviews just in lieu of like, oh, I'm only available at 5, so let's do it live. Like, no, like not because of gotcha and not because it's just like brutal to do. Like I've done live interviews and they're breaking news and not breaking news. So I would just recommend super fun, light, or like super hard news. Okay, let's scroll forward because I knew I jumped that one. Okay, so yeah, we were on press releases. They're still useful, but 2026, they're really just best for breaking news, major events, and your disasters. Do not write a press release, screen cap it, and put it on your Facebook and be like, this is a breaking news, because no one can read it. And then, well, they will. And then people are just gonna like just do like a graphic breaking or like city of blah blah, just this horizontal, and then caption, put all the press release info. Plus with ADA, that's what we have to be doing if your city is rolling over. We're rolling over next month. Um, if you're going to post or email a press release, please, please, please plan to be available, for questions. That doesn't mean you have to be available on camera, but it's just like the worst to be on the end of the news to say like you got this great press release, and so like I want to do a story on it, and then it's like, well, we're not going to talk about this, like that was all we were going to do, like, oh, okay. And even on my Facebook, before this I posted about this webinar, and one of my old surly photog friends, he said, you know what the media wants, they want you to be available if you post a press release. I was like, okay, Nick, I'll make sure I tell them. And okay, send early in the day if you want max coverage. Like that's if you want, right? Maybe you don't want max coverage, and that's understandable too. Okay, tips for positive coverage, right? We can't like control the messaging always, how it looks on that back end and the show stacked. But here's what you could do. You're going to send your press release. And let's just say it's about like your engineering department did something really amazing with like the lead, like all the, like, the eco lights. And so I don't want, if I'm a reporter, I don't want to talk to your director for PAO for that. I want to talk to the engineer guy or the person who installed it. Like, I don't, so maybe be like, hey, I know this engineer director is like super busy, but like I'm gonna send this on Tuesday, but like why don't I hold it to Thursday? Because I see he has like 3 hours or for a gap in the morning. And so like I'm just gonna ask him to hold his calendar, like because I'm gonna send this press release. And so maybe even if you send your press release, you'll want to follow up and be like, XYZ guy is available only in these 3 hours on the day it was sent. Provide visual assets. Okay, so like the trail is finished. Can I get to it? No, but I gave you this picture with like my city stamp on it. Like, oh no. So be accessible. Also know your news cycle and deadline, which we went over in the beginning, is like dayside, nightside, overnight. You're probably hitting dayside, but just know that like Nightside shows up at like 2 o'clock and they're like ready to party. They're just like ready to like give me all your info. They're like hot to trot, and they know like things close at 5. Respect your reporters' workflows. No callbacks, duly noted. Like, of course, sometimes that's just ingrained. Like, oh, I'm not going to call this person back. Like, they can just figure it out without me. I've been on that end, and it's like a reporter gets it, but they still have to try. Um, please, please, please avoid data dumps at 5:45, 55 on Fridays. The data dumps would be like so callous of like, our local PDs would always be doing that, like in every market. Oh, like when did the Epstein files get dropped? Like literally like right before a holiday. I had to have to look, but it was like holiday weekend. Okay. Um, those are data dumps. They're like endless, and they're not fair to you. Maybe you think they are, and then you're going to be upset at your coverage. And that's really all I had, guys. I hope I didn't go too fast. I know I had to jump back. And I really appreciate you for listening. I'm a loud talker. I get excited. And so hopefully it was easy to follow. I want to give you one more slide. I'm going to keep this up for a second. So that's my full long name. And then that's my full long email. And so if you scan this QR, that is my LinkedIn. And then if you scan the other QR that says this presentation, that should, in theory, take you to a link of this live Canva document where you can send it to people, you can make fun of it, you can do whatever you want, but just learn either way from it on what to do or what not to do. And I hope it was helpful. And please throw me some questions. And let me
Thank you.
take this off sharing for a second. So let's give it like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, stop share, and then let me know if you need that.
You
Okay.
that was a great I love the idea of sharing your slides. And if you want to send them or send me the link because I didn't scan the QR code.
Dang
We
it.
can, I know, I'm sorry.
No, no,
I
you're fine.
was too focused. We can include it in the post webinar follow up in the YouTube link when we post that there. But
Yeah.
that's a fantastic idea. Fantastic presentation. I really, really
Oh,
enjoyed
thank
that.
you.
I have a question for you. I haven't seen any
Yeah.
come in yet, but one of my questions, so thinking about, the different sizes of departments that we work with, or that we our members represent from around the state, for those really small shops, what do you think is the most impactful thing that an individual can do when it comes to the media? Is it, supplying B-roll? Is it being
Mm.
prepared to answer questions? What do you think is the one, like if you had to run a whole communications department for a whole city just on your own, where would you invest your time?
Oof. I'd invest my time on press releases and social media with
Yeah.
similar messages. And on the press release end, making sure I have people and assets available. So,
Okay.
and I know that people feel like, I feel like if you email the news, you're not really sure who it's going to. But if
Yeah.
it's like that news at abcnews.com or whatever, if it's like this general, just know that it goes to like 20 people. Like when I
Yeah.
started in Jacksonville, they're like, "Oh, you're new. Do you want to be on like the news email?" And I'm like, "Sure I do." And like in 5 days, I was like, "Please take me off of it. Please take me off of it." Because I was like, I can't handle like the notifications. Because they're like, "You probably need ideas. Like you could be on this email." So just know that like anywhere, it's good advice that like you're not emailing your secret friend at the news if it's like news@news.com. It's like going to 25 people and it's not
Yeah.
private.
Yeah.
So I would
Yeah.
focus that even if you think like your press release is just going to news email, like it's really going to like anchors, reporters, a lot of other people.
Go to the
Like,
news
I would
desk
say
and
like don't be like too downtrodden. Like if someone's not picking up your message, because that's where like it plays hand in hand now in 2026 that you have your own social media channel. So like you
yeah.
advertise the heck out of yourself, you do
Yeah.
you.
Well, and that's the thing that I remind people a lot, especially when we get, individuals who get excited about some sort of media is important, right? But our responsibility is to our community first, right? Not ratings. And so if there's something that we always want to try to control the narrative, but we're focused first on is it beneficial for our community or not, and then working
Yeah.
our way up from there. Jared asked a question: How have you
Yeah.
educated staff on the difference between angle and an agenda?
I would say that it's different in different roles, and that has not been my role to like, oh, like Monica's going to be this educator. But I've in Jacksonville, I had departments that were mine. So like economic development, um, animal control. And so those were like, I would get with the director and we would have meetings every other week or something like that. So it was more like being available internally to those stakeholders than telling them, because rarely were they offered up on camera. It was maybe like their employees or like, hey, we're going to have the news at animal control. Like they're going to want your worker, blah, blah, blah. So I would say it's not so much like educating on the spot of like
Yeah,
that, but you have to let them know like the more you talk, the more content they're going to have. So it's like, it's not that you don't want to like keep going and like be verbose on your issue, but like there have like if they're hopefully doing a package on you, it's going to be a minute 15 long. Sound bites of that are going to be half. It's going to be about 30 to 45 seconds of sound bites. And you just sat down and did a 15-minute interview. Like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
you're going to be disappointed. So just, I would say like you're also working with people who are sometimes not, they're, they're not like experts in your field.
right,
So I
right.
told my kid even last night, I'm helping her with her homework, and I'm like, hon, this is like when I was a reporter and I had to do like a book report every day and I had to get a 100%.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
hard because like you think I knew about the Caterpillar company and
right,
like
right.
machinery when I walked in at 8, but like I
Yeah.
sure knew all about like ham radios when I left the newsroom at 5 p.m. the next day. So it's just like you have to almost like break it down because you don't want to baby them, but you're also like, yeah, I don't think this person knows what's happening. And that's very possible.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would say like
Um,
a long running commitment, a long running conversation with like your staff on like this is what you want. Like you had your press conference because like Mayor had his press conference on like on the O search on like the ocean right there with the bridge behind him. But you
yeah,
know, like so and so, like Fox just showed up because at the end, like they really just want to ask him like why was city council meeting canceled yesterday? So
yeah,
like you're
yeah.
really just offering yourself up as well for like, you know,
Mhm.
to kind of handle it. But I'd also be on the mayor's end where it'd be like, okay, after this question, like grab the mayor and like we gotta go and like get in
Yeah,
the car.
yeah.
And so like
Keep
we
people over.
definitely do like the run, like, oh,
Yeah,
we gotta go.
yeah.
So I hope
Okay,
that
so
helps.
no, that was good. Thank you. Jennifer asked, in the absence of an audio system that media can plug into,
Mm,
how would you recommend a journalist go get audio? And in her specific situation,
mm,
a journalist wanted to set up a microphone on the podium at a council
mm,
meeting, and they didn't have space for it. So, how would you
hmm.
approach that situation, or from a communicator's perspective?
Yeah, we need to put that reporter by a speaker, like a
Yeah,
sound system speaker. So whether
yeah,
or not like she needs to get like a somehow like I mean I've gone so much as like holding my mic to a speaker up tall for
hmm
like 30
yeah.
minutes. Like
Okay,
okay, this hand got tired. Like
yeah,
okay, this
yeah.
hand. I mean that's what
Good
you want
exercise.
the sound and plus you're like dude, the city council is like 10 people talking. Like and plus
Yeah,
one in the front. So like you don't want one mic. You don't want like
yeah,
this one's gonna pick up that ambient, like this one's fine. Like no. Like
yeah,
like if there was no malt box for some reason or like no plug-in, they need to go find like the speaker and just like hold their little lav mic. I've seen also people take like the like nowadays like the selfie tripod that you could like
yeah.
I should have mine. I have like 10 of
Extend
them.
it.
Yeah, you extend it and
Yeah.
then you could take your lav mic and like pin it and then
Mm,
like and so just like kind of push it up So I
Well,
mean, those, get it done.
and not everybody records their council meetings. I would
Yeah.
I'd recommend you do. And if it were me personally, I would say if the reporter's getting antsy and fancy about it, say, look, we're recording this. I'll email you a copy of the audio or video or whatever you need after the meeting is over with, to try to offer an olive branch and make sure they get their things they need. Because that's it. That's the part of that transaction is, as a subject matter expert and communications professional on the agent or the government side, they need us to be a good source for them to have
Hmm.
reliable content, so they can be experts in all the
Yeah.
different news stories
Their
that
book
they have.
report for the day.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I
Okay.
see one question here about the
Yeah.
major errors.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I do think to put it in writing would be best to like reply and like a coherent, like, hey, I saw your story and I just want to let you know, like, there's a few things that could have been said differently. Would you be able to fix uh and not so much use the word retraction, depending, but like, would you
Yeah.
be able to like fix the web story or like, can the anchor do update, like an update? We have a correction to this story. And I think just asking, because all they could say is no. And then
Right.
you could, in this day of social media, you could always make your own posts like, hey, ABC7 did a story and it had glaring errors. And we just want to point out that, or you don't even go that far. You say, hey, there was recently a news story and there was some errors, but we want to, lighten the, like, give light to the truth and say that the actual numbers for the budget are XYZ, and people will kind of join in on that on their own.
Um, well, and the chance of getting a correction or an apology or anything like that, I mean, slim to none. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
But at the very least, you can offer the content and say, you've done your part to make sure the information is as accurate as possible. One more question from Susan. Is there any online training you would recommend for public officials dealing with media, doing interviews during an emergency?
Mm. I know when I was in Jacksonville, I did some NIMS training. I believe that's what it was called, but I don't specifically remember. Like it was an on-site, like an EOC, like Emergency Operations Centers kind of training. And in this state, I'm not sure of the access of it and like in person now that so much is online. But yeah, the whole like disastrous side of things is tough. Especially like with the flooding that we recently had, and like when there's
Yeah,
large loss of life and large sense of danger for everyone on scene. Um, it's like a very hard place to be, and that's where kind of like the parameters of like being professional spokespeople, like being available, not like, hey, this is off the record. Like, we're
yeah,
not friends out there. Like you're always hot on
right.
the mic. Like your text could be subpoenaed,
Yeah,
FOIA'd, everything you write, like you don't want it on TV, like don't write it. Like,
yeah.
you don't want it on
Yeah, if you
TV,
wouldn't
like,
want your grandmother to read it,
yeah, you don't want it on TV, like read by the anchor at the 10 o'clock news, like call someone and like
yeah,
say it on, and then
yeah,
hopefully no one's recording you. And then it's like call someone and say it, like just watch out,
yeah,
like meta glasses, like, I mean,
yeah,
it's a whole
yeah.
new world
Imagine
out
how it's
there.
being recorded.
Yeah.
Susan, I was going to suggest, actually, there's a FEMA course, MGT 318. It's
Mm.
public information for all hazards. And I only mention it because I took
Oh,
it
okay.
last week for the
Oh,
state
cool.
requirement. But this is to answer Susan's question. Your elected officials can take that class. It's a 2-day class, and part of that class is a mock press conference. Great
Mm.
opportunity for them to say stupid things in a safe environment. The other thing you can do if you feel comfortable with them is just ask them painful and random questions, on the fly. I do this with our mayor periodically, especially leading in an emergency situation. Like super uncomfortable questions that I expect nobody would ever ask, just to see how he will react and respond to them. And that can be a useful exercise just in
Mm.
your communications team. Trying to stretch your brains in that perspective, and then you'll never be or you'll be surprised as little as possible.
Yeah.
Um, the well, thank you, Monica, for presenting on this topic. This was really great. Lots of good
You're welcome.
engagement here. Really valuable lessons here. We will be sure to share this recording and all of the content that she provided. And then, hopefully, Monica, are you going to be at the conference this year?
Yes, I'm just waiting for it to open. Did I miss it?
No, you
Okay,
haven't missed
because
it
I'm
yet.
like, why can't I sign up?
Sorry,
I'm
that
hyper.
that
There's a
was a
presentation link, by the way. I just threw it in the chat.
perfect. Thank you. No, sorry, I wasn't just trying to shamelessly plug the conference, but
Oh, you should
conference
shame, you,
registration.
you should plug the conference because it's coming
Where
up
is it?
soon.
I
I
need to
am.
log in.
It's going to be in Austin this year. We're so excited. It's we're putting the finishing touches on everything, and registration should open end of this week, early next week, somewhere in that time frame. So we're like right around the corner from registration
Awesome.
opening. So it sounds like Monica's going to go, so everybody can go to the conference and meet her in person
I'm
and
very
ask her all the
short. Don't
complicated
tell me.
questions. We won't tell you that, I promise. Uh,
Okay.
Aiming for this Thursday, Tristan said, if everything goes to plan. So
Oh,
fingers
okay.
crossed, by this Thursday, registration will be open. Very excited. I say this every year, and I mean it every year. This is totally the best conference that we've ever done. I cannot wait. We have some really, really fun surprises that just I'm giddy. I'm giddy with excitement about. But really great content. It's going to be a good time in Austin. We're going to have time for first timers to get together and hang out with each other. Teammates are going to be there hanging out. Samantha said first year was last year and it was a blast. Yes, and you're presenting this year. Super excited. We're gonna have a lot of new people presenting, a lot of Tamio members presenting on content like this. But lots of great opportunities to network and some fantastic keynotes. So it's gonna be just so much fun. And then of course Tammy Awards, which hopefully everybody got their entries in. So golly, it's gonna be a great time. Anyways, I digress. So Monica, thank you for contributing to this organization with all this fantastic knowledge. You certainly made us a lot smarter today. And for everybody out there in TV land, we will be back next month. We haven't quite landed on a topic for the webinar next month, so shoot me an email if you have anything that you're just itching to talk about. And then be on the lookout for the recording for this webinar to share with all of your coworkers, and then registration for the conference coming up in
This
June.
week.
Thank you all very much for joining us today, and we will see you again next month. Thanks, Monica.
Okay,
Thanks,
bye.
y'all.
Thanks, everyone.
We hope to see you all in June.